What's up guys, and welcome to my channel, Flame4. In this issue 22, we're going to be doing the throttle control and the mixture unit and some various other engine parts for this issue. Right, so I will warn you guys, this issue I broke my first ever screw, so we'll get to that section, and then obviously from there I'll just show you what I did to correct it and how I managed to get the screw back out of the engine itself. So remember guys, the first thing you need to do is take out all your parts, line them up and make sure you don't lose any of them, and keep them separate, because this one there are a lot of fiddly bits, so just be careful. Just make sure you keep everything in place, and be careful of the dreaded screws, because they are horrible screws. Right guys, so we're just going to be building on top of the engine again. The first thing we need to make is this kind of like little sender unit thing. They call it in the magazine a cover, or a throttle control maybe. Yeah, I think it's just a cover for the bracket. I don't think they got the terms down very well. Right, so the next thing you need to fit is the thermostat itself, so go ahead and secure that down. That is held down by two AP screws, so again, AP screws are very good, easy to put on as well. Right, so after you've put the AP screws on, you will need to start assembling some other parts, some various other parts together. Just going to check what they are asking us to assemble. So I think we're going to be fitting the arm next. As you can see here, this is where I fit the arm on. So basically they ask you to attach the arm with the screws, which has the cover. Mine snapped off, which obviously wasn't very good, very annoying. I managed to prise the head off with a flathead screwdriver, and then the rest of it anyway, and then got some long nose pliers on, and kind of, you know, had to sort of like unscrew it with the pliers. Once I'd done that, I've got some AP screws. I put them in very slightly and then went in and out with the screw. Remember, I only had one left, so I had to be careful not to break it. The one thing I did break was the little lug next to it, which isn't an issue because the screw holds it in absolutely fine. I'll just show you a detailed look of it. I mean, it's not perfect now. Very disappointed, really, because I didn't want the build to have any broken or missing parts. But yeah, so be careful with the screws. Right, so moving on, we need to be building this kind of like top assembly where they say they're like injectors. I guess they're sort of maybe like water-cooled engines or something like that. I'm not too sure. But yeah, we'll be building that section in a moment. So we need to put this bit together, and then it kind of sits on top. There are some very fiddly bits, and I would recommend using those tweezers that it came with, because obviously they're there for a reason. You kind of put these little bits together, and then you kind of put these like little tiny injector things in. As you can see here, that's the piece where the injectors sit onto. So that's quite easy because they're just held in by AP screws again. Everything's held in by AP screws on that section, which is all nice and easy to do. Don't over tighten them. Everything is plastic on this section, so be careful not to cross thread them. Here we go, putting the little injector things on. I found it was easier to push them in by hand and then use the tweezers to kind of align them, but be careful not to snap the little tips off, because the tips on the end are very tiny and very delicate, and the last thing you want to do is break that. Right, so once we had them all lined up, I'll show you it quite detailed. I don't know if you can see them, but they are very tiny. I'll just put my hand there just so you can kind of get a closer look, but they're very I don't know, they're just weensy. I don't know why that didn't just come as one section. I know they want us to build some bits, but that's quite hard. I mean, they do sit in there very nicely. With the pipes, I'm not too sure because my other pipe keeps coming off, so I think a little bit of super glue is going to be in order to keep those pipes on. It says to start with the shortest ones, gearbox side, and then the middle size ones, and then the larger size ones. One of my larger size ones was closed up, so I did have to cut the end off to find the hole, as you can see there. So I mean, again, we're doing a little bit of a modification, but I haven't had to modify my too much, so I'm not really that bothered. I was kind of annoyed about the screw breaking off, but you know, I got one in there, so I can't really complain. Right, so this is with all the what they would probably call, I guess, injector pipes going off. After this video, I did super glue them on, just a tiny little bit of super glue, but I do have a video about that, so coming up very soon. So if you want to see that, obviously you can go to that. With the magazine itself, obviously we just have the production diary saying when stuff was coming out, and we have Christopher Lloyd. And again, we just have, it doesn't really kind of say, they usually say in detail what they are, but it just says the engine. But we can see we're getting a dipstick part and maybe some engine brackets to hold it to the actual chassis itself. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I'll see you on the next issue. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.